Hello and welcome to the second of our candidate Q&A events for the Leadership Race 2023. Give us a round of applause, go on. There you go. It's always good to have an almost willing studio audience. It's always good. So hopefully you will have tuned in and caught the recording of yesterday's Q&A session. If you did, you'll remember that I'm Jamie. If not, I'm Jamie. I'm a staff member at the Students' Union, and I'm one of the staff members who leads on all things elections, and that's kind of all you need to know about me. So this afternoon we are joined by 7 more of our candidate, or I should say your candidates for the position of full-time officer. We're joined by 6 students in the room, and also one who, give us a wave Joseph, is joining us from London, which is all quite exciting. Whether you watched yesterday or not, basically I'm going to be guiding your candidates through the rest of the event, where they'll get the opportunity to introduce themselves, answer some questions that we've had submitted by students. They'll also get a specific question on their individual manifestos from Choto, one of your current full-time officers, and then they'll have chance to wrap up, sign off ahead of closing, ready in time for tomorrow's third and final Q&A. How are we all feeling?
Good. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Nervous smiles and nods. That's what we like to see. And what I would say is your candidates have been brief, but in terms of the questions that they will see, they've not had any preparation for those. So I think we can probably all cut them some slack if they need to take a breath or a minute to think of your answer before you respond. Please don't rush yourself. But I think already that's probably enough of me talking, so let's let these candidates introduce themselves. Kelly, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Kelly Ogbonmwan. I am a student, a master's student of the university. I study computer science, and I am here looking for an opportunity to, impact a positive change here in the university. While I'm running for office, I want to be able to bridge the gap between students of the university and the management of the university, and with your help, I'll be able to do that. Okay. My top priorities basically is to represent the diverse student body in the school, and also to ensure that the university accommodates everybody, every category of students. Okay, and my strategy is very, very straightforward. Voices heard, changes made. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. Faran, we'll go to you.
Hi, it's Faran Sabir. I'm from Stoke campus, and I'm a student of Masters of Computer Science, and I'm running for the position of full-time officer, and I'm quite passionate about making positive impact and advocacy for the need of students.
Great, thank you, Faran. So Kai, will go to you next.
Hi, I'm Kai. I'm the communications officer for the largest society at Staffs, and well, you probably heard make Gobble good again, or make Gobble great again. I can see it from the hat. Basically, all I want to do is improve engagement with students for the university, because currently the university is quite out of touch with what students want and need. Security and safety, first and foremost, both at events and traveling around the campus, as is a known problem. And re-engaging students with Newcastle and Hanley, because there are places around the area that people just don't go to. They should get out of the house more, see some things, have lovely food at restaurants and bars. And that's about it.
Great, thank you, Kai. Josh, we'll go to you next.
Hi, I'm Josh Barnett, and obviously I'm here running for full-time officer. My kind of main priorities really is to bring some engagement back to the university through the sports teams and the societies. I want to improve and build upon the current wellbeing system within the university. I think that it's good, but it does need a bit of improvement. And I want to look at easing the stress that students face, especially financially, and to do with their courses. You can see anything that I post online or around the campus with the hashtag #BetOnBarnett. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. And Harshita, over to you.
Yeah, hi, this is Harshita. I'm studying Masters in Computer Science Business Computing. As a student ambassador, I have got an opportunity to meet and greet students from various courses and work with different staff. It made me to run and be here for the opportunity of the full-time officer. And my main focus is on managing expenses and safety for women, and also focusing on internships and career opportunities for the graduates. And my top slogan for being a full-time officer will be think as one and act together. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Len, over to you.
Hi, I'm Len Stuart. I'm a business student. I'm also one of your current vice presidents. I'm running primarily on engagement, the cost of living and community through 6 main projects that I'm doing. The main project of that being decolonisation. That's me.
Great, thank you then. And this is where I feel nervous, so we're going to beam magically. This should work because I've not touched anything to do with making this work. So, Joseph, over to you to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Joseph. I am currently a games design student on the London campus. One of my main focuses of being a union officer would be about bridging sort of the gaps between all the campuses, because each of them have their own strengths that I feel like are currently underutilized at the moment. And if every campus's strength was utilized to its fullest potential and also connected with the main campus, so for example connecting the London's esports arena with the Stoke's esports course, I feel like it can make the whole community and university stronger as a whole.
Great, thank you, Joseph. It worked. Thank you to Staffs TV. Success. That's quite a basic thing nowadays, isn't it? So I'm just easily impressed. I think they've got the first bit over with. Can we give them another round of applause? Well done. That's the first bit of speaking done. Now you're in. It's all uphill from here. So you've had a brief introduction to our candidates at this Q&A event. So we're now going to move on to questions that have been submitted by students. As I said earlier, the candidates haven't seen these questions before, and I will select them as randomly as I can from my little list here. So I think what we'll do is we'll go in reverse order from the introductions. So we'll go back to London and we'll start with Joseph, you first, and I shall select a question at random. Joseph, the university uses the Beacon app, texts, emails and social media, but yet candidates often still campaign on communication needing to be better. What do you think is going to meaningfully improve how students feel communicated with?
So the main way that I feel like students like there's a lack of communication, definitely. And I think it's a great way to give up.
Okay, I think Joseph.
I believe that bringing them.
Joseph, if you can hear me, we lost you there for a second. I'm so sorry. So you get a chance to re-deliver whatever you've just said. We were just checking there. We couldn't hear you in the studio as it is, but we were just checking if you were still coming through. But I think the whole of your audio dropped. So no fault on your part. I think we're okay. And if you could just say hello, and we'll just double check that you're working and live for us again.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. I think we're getting you. I've just had a really reassuring thumbs up. So we'll give you the opportunity now to just start your answer again. Do you want me to read the question again, Joseph?
Yeah, if that's all right.
No problem at all. I jinxed it, didn't I, earlier by saying it in all words, you know. So your question, Joseph, was the university uses the Beacon app, texts, emails and social media, and yet candidates often still campaign on communication needing to be better. What do you think is going to meaningfully improve how students feel communicated with?
I think at the end of the day, what a lot of students want is just to be, have that sort of, I guess, personal communication that's given to them by the university, and also, as a student union officer, that role does fall to you as well, because it is your job to, listen to the students' voices, their opinions, and what they want to be changed. So with me personally, for example, I'd be focusing on, hearing people's voices on the smaller campuses, which might not feel like their voices are reaching the people that they want them to. But the only communication that I feel needs to be improved, and that we and I can improve, is just communicating with lecturers to just, give more advance on like any changes that are happening, get more advance notice from the student union if any changes are happening, more aware of any events that are going on the campuses or between the campuses or online. We've gotten a lot better at communicating, but I believe that it has to be taken to a more like personal level for it to actually make an impact on students, and for students to recognize that, oh wait, yeah, there is a change happening at the moment.
That's great. Thank you, Joseph. Success. Second time lucky. There we go. So as I said, we'll go in reverse order. So now Len will come to you. And your question is, at Staffs we have a very large demographic of commuter students. How do you think the university can cater to these students better?
I think that's quite a difficult question at the moment with the cost of living crisis. We're seeing a lot of train prices go up, lots of train strikes at the moment as well. For several years there's been talks around passes for the train for commuter students. I believe there's a set price for day riding on the bus in the area as well if you're within Stoke-on-Trent, which should probably be taken advantage of. I think car parking on campus has been a issue for a couple of years now. I think the university should be looking at how to improve those sort of facilities as well, to make sure there's actually adequate space on campus for people who actually need to study here.
Great, thank you, Len. So Harshita, we'll come to you now. In what ways have you contributed to university or union life before running in this election?
I had, as an international student, I have been part of many events and some of the UCAS fairs. Mm-hmm. So I have promoted, being a computer student, I have promoted my modules which are so interesting to my friends, which makes them to be a part of the Staffordshire University.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Harshita. So Josh, will come to you. What do you think the university and union could do to enhance cultural inclusion?
I think that quite recently there's been quite a lot of marketing surrounding some of the things that have been happening over the past few months, but I think that some of it is still somewhat limited in terms of if a student isn't involved in that culture. I don't know if there's proper visibility there for those students to actually know that it's happening. So I think that there could be more to kind of done in terms of educating students that may not belong to that culture, to encourage further participation in those events. I know that this year at the SU there's been the introduction of the international coordinators, and they've done a lot of work to push more events because they're specialise obviously in the international student demographic. So they've been trying to push events further, and they've been doing a lot of work to include kind of everybody in those events. So I think comes down to more advertisement and then more education around those cultures to really kind of bring those events to life more effectively on campus.
Great, thank you, Josh. Kai, will come to you next. I would like to know, obviously these are questions from students, so it's not me. I would like to know how you're going to make a real difference for London, Stafford and Shrewsbury. It's not all about Stoke when there are over 2,000 students across these other sites.
That's a good question. Unfortunately for me, as I am Stoke based in the other campuses, I'm not too well informed on what their needs are, what is their priorities. So whilst I would like one of these people from this campus, Staffordshire, Shrewsbury or London, to make it to officer, that isn't always the best, doesn't always happen. So well, first things first, go and pay a visit, go and find out, because I don't know right now. I'm still studying, I haven't got the job yet. If I do, first things first, go straight down there, find out what they need, talk to some students, get an idea, get a lay of the land, see what they need, and see what I can do about it. Come back here, compile a list, break my way, get my way through it, give some feedback, get some emails, and start responding back to them. Because right now, I can't give you an honest answer on what that is. But I'm telling you now, I will go find out, and I will make sure they're heard.
Great, thank you, Kai. Faran, we'll come to you next. What do you think the university and union could do to better support parent and carer students?
As an international student, I felt that this should be carer and the parents, because we have left our homes and we are alone here, and we have faced a lot of problems, and we have faced so many things here. Like here in UK, have been here from 3 months. I've faced too many issues like lack of job opportunities and lack of something like social interaction. Because the major thing is the social interaction, because we have no interaction with the domestic people. That's why I just gonna have that the social interaction may decrease the feel of a parent, of a carer, because the social interaction may keep you out from that depression, that depression-like feeling. So I will make up some things. I will organize some events like social cultural exchange events, like social interaction event and communication for better understanding with the domestics.
Great, thank you, Faran. And finally, Kelly, we'll come to you. Everyone is struggling with the cost of living at the moment, and it doesn't seem to be getting better anytime soon. How will you make sure students get the support that they need?
Very interesting question. Basically, the cost of living is a major problem which is affecting everybody in the United Kingdom, especially us here students. Well, the thing is, we just have to, do more, basically. And if I'm elected, as a full-time officer, and I get to interact with the students, get their feedback on this issue, I believe I will be able to articulate some points that I can pass on to management and ensure that those points are actually acted upon. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Kelly. Wonderful. So there you go, another deep breath out now. That's phase 2 completed. Well done, everybody. So before I get you another round of applause, what I'm going to do now is hand over to one of your current full-time officer team, Choto. Choto is already in his 2nd term as an officer, so he's already had the pleasure of running in the leadership race twice and being successfully elected. So along with a little bit of help from his fellow outgoing officers, although we've still got you till June, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's been looking through all of the candidates' manifestos and has generated some specific questions to ask them about their individual ideas. So let's have a round of applause for our candidates and for Choto as I hand over to him.
Hi, how are you? How you feeling?
Very well.
Yeah, doing good.
Awesome. I'm going to start with Faran, so if that's okay. You say in your manifesto you'll be committed to improving access to funding for international students. As international students have a visa restrictions on hours of employment that they can work, how do you plan to make funds available for them?
Yeah. In sense of the job opportunities and working hours for students, I can see that there are still gaps that international students unable to get the part-time jobs as well as not the quite good pay rate. So I'll do something like the committing with having the equal rights for the international students with the as compared to the domestic students. And for the instance of the scholarship and the bursaries, we'll make up with the staff team, the university team, and we'll make sure that there's enough funding for the international students so they can make up with their studies while leaving their homes. Next.
Awesome. Thank you. Josh, in your manifesto you say that students should have the chance to showcase their talents across campus by being involved in projects by the university is working on. Which schools would benefit and what would be your approach?
I think in terms of the kind of concept behind that idea is that the university recently has started to, especially on their Instagram page, showcase like students that are taking photography-based courses and kind of have started to branch out more into kind of the artwork based courses, but I think that they should really be doing more. So instead of outsourcing projects such as if the university needs a new marketing, so new flyers, or potentially they need the website updating, or they are creating new posts for an open day, they should come to the students here and ask them to do that for them, because it's things to put on portfolios, it's things to put on CVs. They should utilize the amazing talent that we already have on site instead of looking elsewhere for that talent. So the kind of schools that I think really would benefit the most are kind of your more the design and tech school, or potentially looking further afield, you could even go to the business schools to look at financing, accounting, and just really offering students the opportunity to become more employable, because that's what I think it's about. Staffs is ranked quite highly for employability upon graduation, but we can increase that further by just giving students opportunities here on campus. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Next one's Kai. In your manifesto you say you'd like to push for safer travel on night out, especially between Newcastle and Hanley. With existing schemes like the Safe Taxi scheme with intercity already in place, what other ideas would you implement to help students feel safer while travelling home?
Good question. So my idea is the university actually owning their own, not literally, but a bus system, like maybe run twice or 3 times a night on like Fridays and Saturdays around prime times, like 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then maybe one super late, people to get home. This isn't a new idea. The university have already done this. Now, why did they stop? There's the big question, and maybe there's a reason for it, maybe there isn't. Maybe COVID just meant they stopped doing it and they never brought it back, but yeah, I think they should just bring it back, get more people out, going at other places and doing things their evenings don't have to worry about, going home at night where it's dark out, or worrying about if you're coming home from a gay bar, if you're going to get harassed on the way home, because it does happen. It's a real threat that does happen to some people, and you know, why take the risk? Why take the risk when the university can do it? They have the money. We spent 16 million on Catalyst, and well, it's not great. So honestly, why not just, you know, we have the budget, we have the money, you've proved it to us, you spent years making that thing. Why can't you find the money to ensure the safety of students? a library is kind of secondary to making sure people are safe going around the place, especially in the immediate area, and especially when you're telling people it's safe to come to this university. So prove it. That is my point.
Thank you. Next question is to Kelly. In your manifesto, you say that you'll lead effective campaigns such as mental health, accommodation, accessibility, and sustainability. If elected, how do you plan to deliver the variety of these campaigns in just 1 year?
Okay, thank you. Very interesting question. I'll start with mental health. Mental health is a very, very interesting topic. It's something that affects everybody. If your mental health is in check, it's good, you'll be able to have a wonderful student experience in the university. So basically, I'm going to relate with management and relate with other colleagues to ensure to see how the university can create an enabling environment that can cater for our mental health needs. I'm an international student. When I first came here, it was really difficult for me to get accommodation, so basically that's also something I'm going to raise with the management of the school to see how they can better make accommodation readily available for every kind of student. So basically, like I said before, it's all about hearing what these students have to say and ensuring that management acts upon every change that we're looking to make in the school. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The next one's to Len. There's a lot in your manifesto about providing funding for initiatives and activities to benefit students. Are you confident that you can deliver all these big promises in just a year?
Yeah, I am. So, unlike other candidates, I have had the privilege of being in the role for a year already. I know that when the funding is in place in certain areas, and there are certain colleagues within the university looking to make positive changes that will help the students when it comes to the cost of living. And then within the union itself, there are things that we can do to reduce prices for the students. With a number of my projects, it involves making things free for students. One of those being the Leadership Academy, which is designed in essence to build on Staffordshire Edge, which is something that's already in place, but designing a package of short courses to boost employability. And with it being free, you're boosting student employability and helping with the cost of living.
The next one's for Joseph. Can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Awesome. Your slogan is the night to unite, and your manifesto focuses on bridging the gap between campuses. Besides events, what other ways would you look to connect Stoke, London, Stafford and Shrewsbury?
So that's a very good question. It's in terms of connecting, it's not just, as you said, about events. It's also about utilizing all the different resources that people have in different campuses for their courses. So, for example, I went up to the Stoke campus as part of my collab project for games design, and there was so many different talks and events and just activities that go on in Stoke that would have really helped me with my course. It would have helped me find employment opportunities once I've left university. Because you have people from the industry coming doing in talks and courses, and I think that's one example of if all the universities have access to all the talks and resources that each other separate campus has, whether that be online or if you can get funding in your third year, which I'd hope you're able to do to bring everyone together in person. I think it would make for people. And it would enable people to get higher grades. It would enable people to feel more secure about, actually having a job once they leave. And also, in terms of, bridging the gap between universities, it's also just more about a sense of community between the students. It's fun to have, a friendly rivalry that, you do see in events and whatnot. But I think it would be also beneficial for students if they had the support needed if, for example, they need to speak to a staff member, but they're not comfortable with the staff members at the current campus, and they want to speak to an adult that's part of a different campus. I believe that all students should have access to all the resources of each campus. Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. Final question for Harshita. In your manifesto, you say you want to focus on the cost of living crisis. As you know, the cost of living crisis is something that students are struggling within staffs and also nationally. What would you do to combat that to help students?
Yes. The students are facing many issues regarding the cost of living and bills and the accommodation, which are increasing day by day all over the UK. Already the member of the university has written a letter to the Prime Minister so that it helps the students to reduce the cost of living crisis. And I also like to speak to some of the agencies which are providing accommodation to the students to reduce some of the bills or else some of the things which they can do from their end, so that every student can manage their expenses throughout the studies. And also I will recommend them to stay in campuses so that the cost of living will be manageable. Because I have seen students paying huge amounts and they are struggling to pay that. In terms of that, I will recommend them a good place to stay instead of struggling for accommodation.
Okay, thank you. So those are the questions I had to ask. Thank you guys for answering the questions. If I don't see you guys, good luck. And then pass this over to Jamie now. Thank you.
Yo.
Thank you, Choto. So far, I can't believe it, nobody's made a comment about me or Choto wearing exactly the same clothes as yesterday. But maybe we'll get one tomorrow. I'm going to go off script a little bit now. I'm going to surprise you all because while Choto was shining a spotlight on your manifestos, I was handed a card. And this contains some extra questions that we've actually been asked by some students live. So they've been commenting on the stream and they have some additional questions to ask you. Now, bearing in mind that this is where we'd normally be starting to close the show, I'm going to ask that you keep your answers as brief as possible, so we'll treat this like a quick fire round. We've had 3 questions submitted online, so you'll each get another go, and I'll pick some of the previously submitted ones here as well. So this time, if we start with yourself, Kai. So
I have to answer. Say quick.
quick fire. I'll give everybody 30 seconds ish.
Okay.
So only a brief answer. No great expectations because we're putting you even more on the spot. And quite a broad question to start with. They all have a kind of international theme. So Kai, how aware of the international student population on campus are you? So I guess what is your understanding of international students?
I know a few people are international students, but for the most part, pretty much oblivious. I'm not omnipotent. I don't know everything. So I'm just going to openly say it and admit that. But yeah, that is literally the answer to the question. I am not very aware of it. I have friends who are, but I'm not very well, versed on their concerns, their problems, or things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, or what they have to be concerned about. That is a shortcoming I have, but I don't know everything. So,
great, thank you. And that was good. That was quick fire. That was good. That was good timing wise. So if we go to Faran next. In your opinion, what are the main struggles of international students on campus and how would you address them? Quick fire.
Yes. The main problem with the international students are cope up with the studies as well as doing the part-time jobs. And managing with the fees. I will manage with the I'll talk with the SES team so they can manage with some scholarships for the international students, so they can cope up with this expenses, and I'll ask for some job opportunities for the international students, so they can do like MSc. For now, MSc students cannot do lectures for the undergraduate students. So I'll make sure so they can start doing some type of lectures or part-time lectures for the undergraduate students. So they can prepare for yourself, and that's it.
That's great. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm sticking to my quick fire commitment. Put my teeth in. So Kelly, will come to you next. We have a wide variety of students studying different courses and from various backgrounds. How will you ensure that you represent the needs and issues related to students from smaller courses or of diverse backgrounds?
Okay. Thank you. It doesn't really matter who you are or where you're from. It doesn't matter the kind of course you're studying. Basically, it's all about communication. Okay, I'm going to leave a line open. I'm going to ensure that I get feedbacks from everybody. I'm going to create that enabling environment where students can walk up to a full-time officer or a course rep, because I know we're going to be, if elected, I'm going to be working closely with course reps. So basically just open a line of communication, get the feedbacks, make some action points, pass on to the university management, and ensure that whatever change that we're looking for is acted upon. That is it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. So Joseph, over in London or down in London, we'll come to you now for another question submitted by a student, which is, as an autistic student, I have found that when you say disability, people tend to think of wheelchairs. How will you include and represent those with hidden disabilities?
So that's a very, very, myself, I suffer from ADHD. A large proportion of people on my course actually do suffer from autism or other disabilities. The way that best way I believe the inclusion of everything that people is just to provide them a stable, secure, and consistent pipeline to get access to what they need. Because you don't want to pressure them or force them. They don't want just give them help if they need it. Don't be too aggressive with any approach. Make sure that they do so when they feel they need it.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. I'm just looking to my Staffs TV team, because I think we had some mic issues at your end of the connection there again, but if I probably do a very bad job of summarising your answer, the bits that we heard, I think your answer there was, in terms of including and representing those people, that was about being a constant and available presence so that people know that you can be contacted, you're going to be there to signpost people, and that kind of open door approach. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, I that's how I feel myself as someone with the ADHD. Is just want someone to be there right throughout your life.
Great, thank you. We lost you a little bit there again, but I think everybody will get the gist of what you're saying. You want to be present and available for people to make sure that they can feel heard and listened to. So thank you and apologies. We'll shake our fists at London digitally. Great, so we will come to Len next. Sports, societies, events and club nights are an important part of the student experience for some students. How will you look beyond activities that a lot of us see as superficial or even irrelevant to make sure that the union is working on things that actually matter to everyone, like your course and your prospects beyond uni?
Okay. So throughout a number of the projects I want to do this year, so if we're looking at things beyond university, I've got the Leadership Academy, which is specifically designed to boost employability. You have the Staff's Key Fund, which once is in place is a social growth fund. That would be so students can run their own projects boosting employability and skills. The Changemakers project is designed to boost volunteer hours and again improve employability. Decolonisation campaign is looking to intersect almost all sections of university life, from education, representation, policy change, collaboration and awareness raising, looking at inclusion, the education part of it as well, and also building the community, and that's important.
I'll cut you off there for our quick fire round, but that was very good. Thank you, Len. Harshita, we'll come to you. What are your plans to increase social inclusion for international students on campus?
Organize events regularly, not only on special occasions, on weekly basis. I would like to organize few events so that they can socialize and express their views and their talents, which can everyone get to know and which improves their skills and ability to meet students from all the courses, and also to make friends. It helps in these ways. So I would organize events on weekly basis.
Brilliant, thank you. And I've been handed even more questions that we've had submitted online. I'm not going to keep going, don't worry, I won't keep you going through there. But Josh, we'll come to you. You're not going to get away with it, don't worry. As I now try and filter through all the questions that I've got, I think we may even have an additional one. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you can have this one hot off the press, Josh. How do you plan on financing the SU / where do you plan to spend funding? So I think that question is about how are you going to prioritise the resources of the union, I think is what they're asking.
Yeah, so I think that in terms of creating the funds to begin with, it needs to kind of come from a little bit from the university, but then looking towards our venues and our shops. So both on the College Road shop, the Leek Road shop, just making sure that they're kind of well stocked with everything that students need. That's going to drive income for the SU. In terms of venues, it's trying to get people back into them. Obviously, I think it's kind of a knock-on effect from COVID that in the kind of recent years, that there's been quite a steep decline in student engagement, so trying to boost that back up again will increase funding for the SU, because all the money that's put into the SU is put back to the students. That's how it works. And then in terms of spending that funding, it's just making sure that it's allocated correctly. So whether that's looking into free sports initiatives, society initiatives, looking at kind of courses, free courses. I know that some of the previous officer teams have ran courses, have used some funding from the SU to offer courses in cybersecurity.
That's great. I'm going to stop you there. Sorry to try and keep it quick fire, but thank you. And well done, because you didn't know that was going to happen, and you all managed to give really good answers there, so well done. We will now move to our final little segment where we just ask you to very quickly sum up and say goodbye. Because you got the pleasure of bonus questions from some of our students, I'm going to be even harsher, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds to quickly say goodbye. Joseph, we'll come to you first, purely because if your audio goes again, we'll make sure that we leave you a little while and then come back to you. So as quickly as you can, would you like to sum up and say goodbye to all of our viewers?
Okay, I just wanted to say, even though I am based in London, my priorities are for the whole university and making it into one big unity, not just me for London.
And you know, the only bit that it cut out there was vote for me, but we could lip read it. So you said vote for me at the end there. There you go. Kelly, if we go to you next.
Okay, thank you very much. Remember, guys, your voice matters, okay? And I'm here to ensure that the university listens to you. So I urge you to vote for me in the coming elections, and I'm going to serve you. I'm here to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. Faran, we'll go to you next.
Thank you.
I'm committed to ensure to address the problems of the students' representation and student resources, fundings, jobs, opportunities. So vote for me to ensure that your voices are heard and prioritized. All community, one journey. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And Kai, over to you.
I'm mainly going to be focusing on events, cost of living, safe travel, that kind of thing. But I do have some other pointers if you can read my manifesto. I've only got 10 seconds, but if you want to buy a gobble hat, just let me know. Just message me. It's about £4. Anyway, that's it. Passing on.
Thank you, Kai.
Len, we'll come to you next.
I'm looking to continue the work I've been doing all year, introducing these 6 new initiatives. My entire manifesto and campaign is now available online. Vote for me. Number 1, lead with Len.
Thank you, Len. Harshita, we'll come to you.
Thank you. I am one among you, and I will do my best if I am elected, and I need all your support from your end to do all the things which I have voted for you in my manifesto, and I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshita. And Josh, finally to you.
So I've been at SAF since 2018 and I've done a lot in that time, but I know there's a lot more that I can do, especially and if I end up in a position of full-time officer. I'll be around about campus for the next couple of weeks, so please come and talk to me, tell me your ideas, and bet on Barnett.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Let's give them another round of applause. There you go. Well done, everybody. So for those of you viewing at home, especially those of you who've submitted questions, sorry that I wasn't able to get through all of them, but I'll put them in my pocket and we'll use them for tomorrow. I've had a couple of questions, which I wasn't expecting. Two requests that I wear a pink shirt tomorrow. Now, student voice is obviously incredibly important to me, but no. But thank you. Please do continue to submit questions for the candidates. That would be lovely. So thank you very much for viewing and sticking with us. As I said yesterday, and as I said at the start of this show, we've got the final and third Q&A event, which is taking place tomorrow, same time, streamed again by the wonderful Staffs TV. So please do tune in for excuse me, please do tune in for that, or you can check the recordings all on the Staffs TV YouTube channel. All manifestos are still live and they will be right the way through the voting period. So head to staffsunion.com/vote to read the manifestos of all the full-time officer candidates, but also department reps, postgrad reps, society committees, network committees. The whole lot is up there for you to read. Don't forget that voting is next week, so that's Tuesday the 25th of April. From 9 AM, voting is open online only, right through to midnight on Thursday, the 27th of April. So thank you very much for sticking with us. Well done to our candidates for a bumper bonus version of a Q&A, and we will see you for tomorrow's question and answer event. Thank you very much. Well done to you guys. You can clap yourselves. Go on.